Okay. Hello, everyone. We are again live, but this session was actually of our regular session of Organon. I am Dr. Sanjay Solanke from India, and here is Tikwa Sasun from Israel. We are here on to the aphorism number 18th of Organon of Medicine, 6th edition. Over to you, Tikwa.
Organon of Medicine with the Bo-Ricki translation. This is the translation that we use. The basic Bo-Ricki.
Yeah. We have seen that Hahnemann is talking about how a dynamic energy governs the material body. It produces all the sensation and function. Either they may be a healthy or they may be disease. Everything is produced by the dynamics. And again, in this aphorism also, Hahnemann is talking about the same thing. So we will read this aphorism. What do you say, Tikwa?
Yep. Let me pull up my screen share. I can't seem to do both at the same time.
No, you don't have to look at the Facebook.
No, I
You
can't.
just continue.
The problem
You
is
can
the
just,
feed and from the Zoom. I can't seem to overlap Zoom on top of my PDF, my document viewer. And I don't know why.
by the time we can continue with the part. We
Okay,
can
so
read from.
Aphorism 18 says, from this indubitable means without a doubt, it cannot be doubted. There is no doubt to the truth. From this indubitable truth, that besides the totality of symptoms, with consideration of the accompanying modalities, then he references aphorism 5. Aphorism 5, if we remember, is where we find out who our patient is. This is where we do our case taking to find out, how they live, what they do, various aspects of their lives. And then aphorism 6 is the change state. But he says here, aphorism 5, the totality of the symptoms with consideration of the accompanying modalities. In aphorism 5, nothing can by any means be discovered in disease wherewith they could express their need of aid. It follows undeniable, we can't deny it, that the sum of all the symptoms and conditions in each individual case of disease must be the sole indication, the sole guide to direct us in the choice of a remedy. Yep.
This is a very important aphorism.
Very important.
We see he has given the reference. What aspect and what we need to assess the totality. aphorism number 5, where he talks about exciting cause of the acute diseases, helps the physician to guide onto the chronic disease, to track the chronic disease. And
Mhm.
chronic disease comes from, and to analyze the chronic disease, we have to consider lot of factors being explained in that aphorism.
Yes, indeed, because useful to the physician in assisting him to cure are the particulars of the most probable exciting cause of the acute or the fundamental cause of the chronic, which would be the miasm.
Mhm.
It's exciting cause or fundamental cause. And then we ascertain things about the lifestyle, the habits, the previous treatments. And these are all dynamic things. But, we roll out things like lifestyle disease or medicinal disease by
Yeah.
finding out the
And
lifestyle.
again, he gives importance, the main symptoms, totality, along with modalities, he says. And what are the modalities he's talking about? He's talking about everything. His location, sensation, then modalities, circumstances of occurrence, like aggravation or amelioration, concomitance, and causation.
Yep. Modalities, all the things that surround it.
And all these, we can differentiate every part of the symptom in this aphorism. But we need to understand that this dynamics is only mean that to understand disease, the symptoms produced by the vital force, the deranged vital force. And this is only mean to what you call select the remedy. Select the remedy. There is no other mean to understand disease state, and there is no other mean to select the remedy. Only that signs and symptoms which are produced by vital force. And this is the only aspect in then we can consider every aspect, like acute symptoms, chronic symptoms, as he has given reference to aphorism 5. Even in the acute state, we need to consider the exciting causes, the constant and frequently the person being sick with the acute diseases. And we need to study those exciting causes that will help to understand the chronic disease, which is usually from chronic miasm.
That's right. And an interesting thing, the totality in homeopathic practice is the true diagnosis. The diagnosis isn't the allopathic diagnosis. Those are just words we use for convenience, because the disease and the diagnosis are the same thing as the remedy. The totality eliminates all theoretical elements and speculation in traditional medicine, and only deals with the facts that manifest themselves through the vital force in each individual. These facts are assembled according to some not arbitrary or imaginary form, but to normal order. So it's always the vital force that produces exactly to show us what needs to be treated in the person so that we can match the person's symptoms to the same symptoms that most closely resemble it in the proving data.
Right.
A crude diagnosis is it's totally different than a homeopathic diagnosis.
Our diagnosis is whole disease state, acute or chronic.
Yeah, you could say
It
like,
doesn't.
somebody has a Rhus-Tox ailment.
Yeah, you can talk like that. You can diagnose the remedy. Because the remedy and the disease state are the same.
Mhm.
But we might put a wrong diagnosis if you just go with the name of remedy. So
Yeah,
instead, to look at the fact of the disease state before interpreting or bringing the what you call remedy in the head. Just look at the fact, collect signs and symptoms which are produced by the vital force as the response of under influence of disease state. And more important, this is only mean signs and symptoms to understand the disease state. And
absolutely.
this is only mean to select the homeopathic remedy.
Yep, the only way to do it. The totality of unusual symptoms
You,
with its
yeah,
modalities, while considering who our patient is, aphorism 5 is a guide, is the only guide in directing us in the choice of a remedy.
this is all with this aphorism 18. Or is there anything you can say about?
That's aphorism 18, that the signs and symptoms, using aphorism 5 as a guide, direct us in the only choice of a remedy. And that's all we need. And then with
Exactly.
aphorism 19, we're going to use the word morbid. And the word morbid is interesting. It's from the Latin morbidus, disease, from morbus, sickness. And the root is morere, die. So we can see the Hahnemann intended for us to use morbid symptoms, because we're going to come to that. So he does mean symptoms of the disease state, of the illness,
Mhm.
because it all comes from the word Latin, morbid. So we're supposed to use the morbid symptoms, not the, it's really kind of irrelevant. Just, what color people's eyes are, what color people's hair is, all these different things that just form the basic background of the person is not particularly useful in disease, because it's not a disease. Only things that have changed. So, for example, if my skin were to be totally red, that would be a change unless I've been out running in the heat. So you're looking for the changes. That would be what's morbid, as opposed to just what's normal for the person. We can't look at just what's normal for the person.
Exactly. We see that there are a lot of factors that the example I give last time also. When you catch a fire or coal in the hand, it will give you a burning sensation. And giving the burning sensation is actually the normal. if you are catching a fire. If you are catching a ice, it will make you feel cold. That is a normal, and these normal things are just response of vital force. They cannot be called as disease state. Only disease state is those which are altered, which has to be burning when putting hand in the fire, and instead of burning, it's not, it's giving something another sensation. It's like feeling if you are putting hand into a fire and it's not giving that sensation which it has to give. And this change state or altered state uh, is the disease state.
Yeah, and we come to that now in Aphorism 19.
Somebody somebody which somebody is having a very light skin like you, and if you are going into a sun and it's not tolerable, it
Actually,
become
it's
red.
tolerable. It's actually quite tolerable. I don't burn that easily.
No,
You
no,
know,
no, no. I'm not talking about you personally, but I'm just talking about when somebody who are having a less melanin, their skin will become more red in hot sun, right? This is a normal reaction of the body, and this state is not actually called a disease state. The symptoms which has to be produced in some certain circumstances are not disease, but the symptoms which has to be produced are not produced. Instead, it is producing something another or altered symptoms will call the disease state. And this actually been explained in aphorism. Which aphorism? Number 19.
yeah, shall I read the aphorism for everybody?
Yeah, go ahead.
As diseases are nothing more than alterations in the state of health of the healthy individual, which express themselves by morbid signs, and the cure is also only possible by a change to the healthy condition of the state of health of the diseased individual. It is very evident that medicines could never cure disease if they did not possess the power of altering man's state of health, which depends on sensations and functions. Indeed, that their curative power must be owing solely to this power they possess of altering man's state of health. The curative power of the medicine is seen by what? By the provings, right?
Right.
Yeah, so when we have a proving, then we know clearly the pure action of the medicine, not mixed with anything else, but just its pure action of how it deranges the vital force in a healthy person.
One more thing. Everyone is talking about health and healthy state, right? What actually health mean? It is purely individualized thing. Life cannot be measured with the food scale, right? So somebody is having what you call a certain amount of body structure. His vitality will produce symptom and signs and what you call sensation and functions according to how the body is built. That will be definitely optimal for the how the body is physically built, right? And that actually, who is there?
Yes, so disease is a change state that is expressed, that is shown, produced by a person's vital force through morbid signs and symptoms. A sign is something that we can see, and a symptom is something that's generally narrated to us. So, through communication and observation with the person we need to treat, we will see what needs to be done and be able to find the best match, the closest medicine that matches the totality of change state and be able to give the appropriate medicine.
Right. I think it's done.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
These are about short aphorism. In the first part, we see that everything is about dynamics to how disease are represented by signs and symptoms produced by vital force. And same, only this is the only mean, and it is the only mean these signs and symptoms to select the remedy. And in the this 19th aphorism, we see only altered state are considered, and only these altered state are
Right.
curable
And we
by
have to,
those
that
by
we have,
those medicines which effects are known by on the produced by produced on a healthy human being.
right. And we have to be really concrete about this. We can't imagine any of these things. We have to be so concrete with our case taking and evaluation of the situation. And we have to make sure that it's 100% true.
Right. This is all for the day.
Yep. That's all for today.
And if you have guys any questions, you can message us on Facebook, or you can message us on the WhatsApp group about the aphorism, about the understanding of Organon 6th edition and its application as a guide. It's only a guide to practice homeopathy.
Yep, Hahnemann left us two beautiful pieces of literature, the Organon of Medicine and the Chronic Diseases. The chronic diseases we're studying in our WhatsApp group, page by page, and we're getting near the end. And then on Sundays, we have our 10-year program.
Mathematica pura.
Pura, and then the chronic diseases as well. So yeah, original source material has so much to offer the modern practitioner.
Those who wish to learn from these original sources by founder Dr. Hahnemann, they surely can contact us.
They're very, very helpful. And they really give us what we need to know. They're the
Yeah.
fundamentals of homeopathy. Thank you
Okay.
so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
of course, I'll be posting everything onto the YouTube channel. And join us next time.
Yeah. You need to close the Facebook Live first. and then stop recording.
Okay, we stop the live. Okay, we did it.
Now recording.
Yep, I'm doing it.